Sorry guys, editing faux pas, but we're back. We're in the middle of fret leveling the Stanley Iceman. You can see all of the dust and the fret material that comes off. That's all the fret material that came off. Once you do that and all your markings are gone, you go back and you fret rocker. And you should have leveled off all the ones that were high. To illustrate, yes, beautiful. We got no rocking frets. They're all level and they're all extremely flat. And that's what we expect. That's what's supposed to happen. And you know, we had a real problem when we got down here. I already checked all these. I'm just doing it for the exercise of the video. You get down here, and this is where we had a lot of them that were rocking. This guy especially, right there. And no, we're good. No problems. So we know now all of our frets are flat. And remember, when I started, not these up here so much, because these were the ones that were really giving us trouble. But they all still have to be recrowned. As I said before, these were all already flat, like somebody didn't know what they were doing and they were trying to grind them down with something. Wasn't done correctly. The next step is I'm going to vacuum this up, but I'm going to shut the thing off so anybody that's watching with your headphones isn't going to get dialed in on that. Little crowning tool. It's divoted file. Okay, it's got two sizes on it. One really fat for big fat honking frets, and one a little bit smaller. There are a million of these. There were a million of these. You know, I've used these. I've used bigger ones. I've used ones that are specific to, you know, the radius of the board, like I described before. But for purposes of what we're doing here, this is for you guys to try it at home. You can get one of these little guys, and that's why I didn't pull out a great big one that cost $200. I wanted to show you that you can do this job with a $20 one from, you know, anywhere online. And it comes with extra sandpaper. You just peel it off and stick a new piece of sandpaper on as you wear them out. And you will pretty much only get one leveling out of one set of sandpaper. But as I said, you don't have to level your frets, you know, a million times. If you do it twice in a guitar's lifetime, depending on how much you play, sometimes a guitar that gets played a lot, we have to pull the frets out and put new frets in. That's a completely different repair. What we're doing today is leveling, recrowning, and it starts the same way. Now, I'm going to pause quickly while I vacuum up all the dust off of this as much as I can. Stand by. So I know this is going to be really, really crude, but this is the fret as we look at it from this, as if we were looking at it from the side of the guitar. The fret is flat on top. What we are trying to accomplish by crowning, using a crowning file, is to change it from that flat state to almost a pointed state. Now, it's not going to be perfectly pointed. It's going to come up and then have a slight flat spot and then round back off. And that's what this file is designed to do. Now, when I have marked them again with a black marker, okay, because the same as before, when we were filing them down, once all those marks disappear, we know we're flat. When we get done crowning each with the file with each fret wire, we should come up, instead of having it completely black, there should just be a thin black line right in the center of the fret when you're done. And that means you have crowned that fret. That's not the end, because after that, then we have to polish them and take all of the scratches from every file, every piece of sandpaper that we've used on it. We want to smooth them off and polish them. So this is how we start with this. And you're going to start at pretty much any end that you like. And it's divoted out like this, but beyond that, it's pretty basic, and you just start at it. Now, you're not trying to go all the way around it. You're basically where the string runs on the fret itself. And you have to check your work repeatedly. I will do that with my bionic eyes because sometimes you only need a couple of runs on it, and sometimes you got to work it a little bit. When we get down here and they're really flat, we're going to have to work them for a while. As I said, that up here they weren't that bad. Yeah, we need to keep going. You're just going to keep working this until you get it where you know that you've crowned the fret. Now, this is pretty tedious stuff. This is going to take a while. Don't get in a hurry. Watch your work. These are really big frets. And as you continue to crown it up, you're going to see that the fret starts to go like that. Get over aggressive. And that one is there. I like that. And almost every divot that was in there from the strings is gone. Almost completely. Very nice. And the real test is when you look at it this way. You have crowned that fret and it has come right up and almost goes to a round, but just the very top. Very nice. Beautiful. Okay, so you can see how long it took to do that one, and we still have to polish it. But boy, it's going to be nice when we're done with this. This guitar is going to sing. So, fret leveling 101. Now, just the amount of time that I spent on the first fret, and you can see how shiny it is already. I have to do that with every single one of these. Okay, so I'm going to work my way down the neck, get them crowned up, and go from there. So I'm going to pause while I go through most of this. I may get right to the end of this in this session and get to where now we're pulling off the tape, but the next step is going to be, once I do this on every one of these frets, we're going to polish them. We're going to clean them up and make them just shine. Okay, so stand by. So we're about 2/3 of the way done. Put your headphones on. When you get done doing it, there will be just the slightest shade of black marker left right in the middle of the fret as such. And that's how you know that you've crowned it. And it's just the most tedious, counterintuitive thing that there is to do, but this is what it is. And I know this is unsettling to watch, and this is not finished yet too, because we still have to polish them and get them completely clean. And you just have to really watch and pay attention. And if you don't want to do it, I'll do it for you. Just looking for that little faintest line. If the line's too fat, then the fret's still too flat on top. And remember, you're not pressing down on this. You're letting the file do the work. And you ever so slightly start this way and round over the radius of the fret as it follows the radius of the fretboard. And when you get done, there'll just be the faintest little line left, like that. And the next one. And some guys will tell you, oh no, as soon as it's skinny line, just leave it. No, you want to go all the way down to where it's just a faint line. And we're going to clean it up later. This one really needs a little extra work. Work it, look at it, like that one's just more flat than the one before it. So this is how it goes. Stand by. Wow. So, yeah, very tedious, and you have to work it and work it and work it until you just see a little bit of a crown on each one. Now, the camera can pick up on that. You see all the filings down there. All the metal work that came off of the fret ends, the fret wires, sorry. I got fret ends on the brain because that's the next step. But you can actually see the way these frets are now shining, and they're not even finished yet. Now the next step is to vacuum all this stuff off of here. I'm going to clean up the bench because there's metal shavings all over everything. And then I'm going to get after it with the fret erasers before I pull off the tape, because then I don't have to hold the metal thing on there to protect the board. So let me vacuum this mess up. Bring your headphones down. Oh, and by the way, yes, I did go through with the fret rocker, and yeah, let's see. Very nice. If you have anything rocking anywhere, it's going to be minor, and it could be caught in. There's still some divots left from, the natural string wear on a fret wire is normal. You're every once in a while, unless your finger catches it, your eye may see it, but the string will still be able to slide over there. And once we do the fret eraser, it's going to clean all that up, and then we're going to polish it too. So I love it. It is. I mean, I have rocking frets all over the place, especially getting to the higher frets. And I'm not seeing that now, and I'm really happy with that. You know, there's no such, it's like intonation. There's no such thing as perfect, but compared to where we were, where you couldn't even, there were so many dead frets up here and high frets that were causing dead notes that you couldn't play the guitar. And now they're all within acceptable limits. I mean, most of them don't even rock at all anymore. And that's the way they should be. You know, you're not hearing any clicking at all. And this is the guy that was the worst. And he's still a little bit tall, but it's down to where I know once I string this thing up, that's not going to be a dead fret anymore. It's hard. You can't even hear it. It's so slight. And again, as I said, there's no such thing as a perfectly flat fretboard. I mean, the fret wires, you get them within a micromillimeter of each other, and you're good. If you can't hear any clicking when you're using the fret rocker, you're golden. And then the final test is once we get it all done, you go on every string, on every fret, all the way up. And that'll be the proof in the pudding. The next step is my favorite little tool. And usually I use the metal protector to protect the wood, but since we have tape on here already, we're going to start with the 180 grit, which is the most aggressive, and you go at it. And you just keep going and keep going and keep going, and you polish, polish, polish. Now, what this is designed to do is take all the fine scratches out that this left in your crowning file. This won't take them all out. I'm not going to lie to you. There's more work to be done, but it will take off the remainder of the black marker as well. When we get done with this, and I got to go through 3 of these, 180, 400, 1000. So I got to do them all with this one, then I got to do them all with this one, then I got to do them all with this one. Again, I'm not going to show you that entire thing. Then I'm going to get my bionic eyes on, and I'm going to look at each fret, and I'm going to polish them. I might even have to get out a power tool against my better judgment, because there's probably going to be, just to get them really, really shiny and take out any final micro scratches, sometimes you got to put a little polish on there, and I just happen to have the good stuff. Where's my fret polish? From Music Nomad, my favorite company. I use a lot of their products. That is the last final step. In fact, I'm not even going to keep it on the bench, because today it's going to take me forever to get to this, get through this process. And so I'm going to pause. I'm going to get through all of this. When I get to the 1000 grit, the last few frets, I'm going to come back. So while I'm doing all this, you just pause. I'll come back, and then you can watch me do the last few with the 1000, and then we're going to evaluate and whether I need to power tool it and really polish it. So stand by. Well, okay, we're back. I am not going to have to power tool these at all. I thought that they were going to be in such rough shape, but I cannot say enough about fret erasers. This is not I'm not endorsing this product. I'm not getting paid. I buy this stuff out of my own pocket, and I use it, and I'm telling you guys, get it. Because I used to have to, after this job, before I started using these, and I learned about these from someone else. We may know him, you may know him, it doesn't matter. But you used to have to take sandpaper on a block and sit there, and after we went through leveling and crowning, and sit here and go through every one of these and you had to do 3 different size papers. You started at 180, you moved up to 400 or 600, and then you went to 1000 or 1200, and then you had to go and take and polish them, or you know, put like a polish on a power tool and actually do that. That's old school. It doesn't need to be done anymore. I'm telling you, this is my brother's guitar, and if it's good enough for me and I'm doing it for him, I'm telling you, I have put my bionic eyes and got down and looked at these. This is a professional fret job. Now, we can go farther, and you can make them shine even more. But look, the camera's picking up on that. You know, I mean, you could see the difference from when we started and what it looks like now. And not only that, they're level. So I know after we get all the goodies sorted out, you know, that I explained in the previous video, the previous installment, I know that I fixed all the flat frets that were down here, and there was a bunch of high frets, and there were dead notes and dead strings, dead frets, call it whatever you want down here. I know when I get ready to restring this thing, I don't have to worry about that. And the reason I did this now instead of waiting until I got the whole guitar together is because I knew there was a problem there, and I'm waiting for the machinist to finish my hardware. We still have to suss out the electronics and some other hardware to hold things together. I know we're going to find problems when we get into here and in here. I may end up pulling all of the wiring out of this guitar and starting fresh, but to start with 100%, I know we got a bad selector switch. We're going to get into that, and there is just the most goony, goo-goo solder job I've ever seen in there. So somebody at some point tried to fix that. These two pots look like they're regular, normal factory, but something went wrong here, which would have told me that, you know, when this got put in, something got screwed up with that one. So we got a lot more work to do on this guitar, but now that I'm into it, I'm loving it. I hope you guys are digging on it too. That's it for today. We're going to come back with another installment. This is going to be a lot like the 65 Riviera. This is going to take a while to get this guitar done. And in the meantime, I have other guitars to work on. But this one, it's a family connection, and I really, it's been way too long. So we're going to get this girl going. That's going to be it for today. Thanks, everybody, for playing along. I love that you guys are supporting me. If you dig what I'm doing, don't forget, click like, subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And don't forget, we're working on Paul Stanley guitar, and Kiss was a hell of a rock and roll band. I'm not afraid to say it, are you? We'll talk soon.